Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Camera is not the greatest in the world. Welcome to my channel once again. Today's section on Midnight Thoughts is manhood and its unappreciation in general. Before that, welcome. My name is Jonathan. I am the host of the YouTube channel called Masculinity Uncovered. And today's section is in regards to 3 topics. And I have a list here that I'm going to read out and give my commentary on. Number 1 is the lack of recognition of men's contributions. I'll read what I found and then I'll give my thoughts. Society often overlooks men's roles as providers, protectors, and problem solvers, focusing instead on criticizing traditional masculinity, which leaves many men feeling undervalued despite their sacrifices. Now, the reality is, I think most people, unfortunately, but particularly women, let's just say most people because a lot of people are responsible for this same thought process, is that they don't recognize, they don't understand the simple idea that men maintain everything in society, from infrastructure meaning that the places that we live, the roads that we drive on, the houses that exist for us to go into the air conditioning, the electricity, sewer lines. Massive problem. If those don't get taken care of on a daily basis, oh, we got issues. Power grid, I mean, the internet. Sounds kind of non manual or labor, but men maintain that. And the counterpoint is, well, women have never had the opportunity. The reality is, men have never stopped you. You could have been a single person forever, pursuing your career in 1920, and nobody would have stopped you. Would have told you to go get a job, marry a husband. And, there could also have been a simple thing as maybe women thought it was better just to have a man, because it may have been safer, because economic reality didn't allow a lot of women to enter into difficult, dangerous jobs because men were smart not to allow women into that. Maybe even women were smart to think it's not a good idea. So there's a lot of reasons to say that men only are responsible for a lot of things and women only are responsible for other things. In fact, that is the only way it should be and the only way it can be. We shouldn't lie to ourselves. That's number 1. So, number 1 again, the lack of appreciation, recognition of men's societal contributions. Number 2, disregard for men's emotional labor. It sounds tricky, but I'll read you what it says. Men are rarely acknowledged for the emotional support they provide in families and communities, with their efforts to maintain stability and morale often taken for granted or dismissed. I think this is a big one. Men often overwork themselves from a mental standpoint because they know they have to push through their families, taking care of them, supporting them. The reality is, I don't think there's a single woman who feels comfortable providing for her man. I genuinely don't think it exists. And people who say they do, it's very hard to pinpoint that as a majority of women. Yes, there might be individual cases, but the majority of women will never ever accept her providing for her man. It's a fair deal. They think she should not take care of him. They think, why isn't the man responsible for himself? Why can't he take ownership of his life? Why do I have to take care of him? For the man, it's the opposite. If he could, he wouldn't want his woman to work a day in her life in jobs that he should be able to do. He still expects his woman to contribute to the family, though. He never said anything about that. But I think where women get this wrong is that they think that men aren't emotionally available. It's not that they're not emotionally available. It's just that they understand when some conversations take 2 seconds and some take 2 hours. There's a difference. Like, for example, I'm having a perfect conversation right now, trying to make a logical, consistent argument into explaining that some things make sense, others don't. I'm talking for a long time. But if you say, oh, I just want you to acknowledge my feelings, men's response to that is, don't give a shit anymore. Figure it out. Or it's like, you may be valid, but now is not the time. Both are perfectly valid responses. From your perspective as a woman, you think the only acceptable and right answer is for the man to listen to you for 2 hours. You can't do that. You can't expect your man to be you. So you have to come to a place of understanding, ladies. You have to understand that your man has a duty that you don't. And vice versa, you have a duty that he doesn't, right? Towards family and towards your spouse and your children, of course. That's why it's so important to understand what your duty is, what your responsibility is. You cannot be disregarding each other's duties. In fact, that's the key point of why a marriage lasts. If they fulfill their duties, those are the longest lasting relationships by far, by any metric and standard. If we reverse the roles, if we genuinely reverse the roles, I think there's even data to back this. I think there's data to say that when the roles are reversed, there's a certain level of disgust, resentment towards each other. Women towards men, because the woman doesn't want to provide for the man naturally. And then the man, he feels like, why am I stuck here doing the woman's duties? He may not say it, right? So it's a very odd relationship, honestly. Number three, diminishing the value of male identity. Modern narratives frequently downplay or vilify masculine traits like strength and leadership, eroding men's sense of purpose and appreciation in a world that demands their contributions but rarely celebrates them. The reality is, I have heard a lot of feminists complain about patriarchy this, masculine bad this. So then the real question is, what of masculine nature only do they think they are better than women? Just one. Most often than not, they will never acknowledge anything. I mean, it's a counter argument to their whole ideology if they acknowledge that some things men are just better than them. It's not. Isn't that their whole spiel that men and women are equal? Right? And the reality is, I think the third point is completely true, right? They expect men to be men, regardless of what they say. But when men behave that way, they think it's the most evil thing in the world. Strict boundaries, telling that the woman is wrong, tell her to be quiet because she talks too much and she's absolutely annoying. You know, those are things that men tell each other, no problem. But for some reason, when a man tells that to a woman, it's a problem. But I thought you wanted to be equal. Well, in the world of equality, you get what you deserve, essentially. But back to the third point, we are expecting till this day men to be completely traditional, save the world, protect the family, take care of your family, provide for the family, make sure everybody's okay, calm other people's nerves, be the peacekeeper. Those are all traditional traits. So, from a man's perspective, if you, from a, from a man's perspective, addressing women especially, if you want a man to be a man, you have to understand he's the opposite of you. An authentic, true man will not tolerate bullshit, especially from women, because it is a complete disrespect to his identity. And yes, you can call it fragile ego and identity, but I'm going to tell you a secret. And I hope you listen to what I'm saying very carefully. The more men hear the word fragile ego, the less they approach you. They're not interested in having that back and forth with a woman because women don't know what limits are. They don't understand when they cross a limit. Men understand naturally where the limit is. Otherwise, they get hit. very hard. Some people die. So do not mistake men's compassion for ego. Be careful. Men will tolerate a lot, but when the disrespect hits different, you got something coming for you. Be very, very careful. It's a warning for y'all. Talk to your man like you respect him. Because when you show him absolute respect, he will treat you extremely well. Men's nature is very reciprocal. On the other hand, women not so much. This is a sad reality that most men understand through experience, through talking to people, through watching what goes on. It is what it is. I mean, we don't blame women for things, right? We just say it's part of the nature and end of story. We just try to adjust to it, essentially. Right? So, ladies, if you did listen, and gentlemen, don't be offended by my words. Think about what I say. Maybe this goes over your head. That's fine. The few of you that do take my advice seriously, think about these things. From a man's perspective, what must you do? It's kind of hard to tell you what you must do. From a single perspective, if you're absolutely single, you've never had a girl, I'm gonna say this: you're kind of lucky. Most people get married before the age of 30. Most guys. If you can, avoid being in a relationship until you're 30, because you need to establish a certain level of maturity and wisdom. That takes time. I get it. There's guys out there who mature very, very early. I get it. No, no question about that. But for the majority of average men, you need the time to grow personally. You got to fix your body. Don't get me wrong. They can blame as well. I'm not alone in this, right? Finances is extremely important. Get your finances in order. Make sure you are on a path of good financial outcome. And number three, train your character. Learn to sift through bullshittery. It's important to essentially read, research, watch videos that teach you about what are some serious red flags that you should consider from a woman's perspective. And from there on, if your goal through Christ is to get married, which I'm guessing most people are, take it from Christ and how to judge a woman. And with that, gentlemen, and you ladies who listen, I wish you a good night. And I hope you have peace within your life. And I genuinely hope you can find a great path towards Christ. Much love and much appreciation. Thank you for your time.